In other news, South Korea continues to discuss with Iran issues related to Iran's assets frozen in South Korean banks. The release of those assets, it's understood, are related to Iran's seizure of a South Korean ship last month. But it's widely believed that the fates of the assets and the ship lie with the United States and a resumption of the Iran nuclear talks. Yoon Jung-min reports.
Iran says South Korea has agreed to unfreeze around $1 billion worth of Iran's assets, though Seoul has not revealed any details about those negotiations. Seoul's foreign ministry acknowledged on Monday that there was some form of agreement reached with Tehran, but unfreezing the assets instead would require consultations with related countries, including the U.S. It's widely believed that Iran is pressuring South Korea to unfreeze the assets, and that in a related move, Iran seized a South Korean-flagged ship in the Persian Gulf last month. The ship's release could depend on how fast Seoul moves to release the assets. In total, Iran's assets frozen in South Korea under U.S. sanctions are said to be worth around $7 billion, and Iran says it wants to use part of that to buy supplies against COVID-19. Experts say a resolution depends largely on the prospects of Washington and Iran resuming their nuclear talks known as JCPOA.
The key point of the Biden administration's Middle East policy is nothing but the return to the JCPOA. So the power holders of Islamic Republic of Iran need to show that they are trying so hard to lift the sanctions by the United States for their electorate.
The expert added, however, that it's true that tensions between the U.S. and Iran over the nuclear talks and sanctions could delay the release of the frozen assets. Also, to lift the sanctions, there are some procedures required in the U.S.
Including the United States Department of Finance, and they need a very thorough investigation about the impact of this release of this partial lifting of the sanctions. So it takes a lot of time and also lots of negotiation between and among the relevant parties.
On Tuesday, the U.S. State Department said it wouldn't comment on bilateral negotiations between Seoul and Tehran because there has been no transfer of funds. Its spokesperson added that it wouldn't be a surprise to see the U.S. speak with its key ally South Korea when it comes to sanctions enforcement across the board. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.